ladies and gentlemen, the star of Politically Incorrect, Bill Maher.
Okay, let's meet our panel. He is the national spokesman for the Congress of Racial Equality. He has nothing to plug. Niger Ennis. Niger, where are you? That's right. You're doing good work.
Thank you, sir.
Need a plug. She is the first lady of rough riding in a self-described pit bull in a skirt. Her new CD is Scorpion. It is hot as she is. Eve, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. It's a good record there, baby. Thank you for coming. A celebrated mother and medicine woman. Her special 2-hour Dr. Quinn movie airs this Saturday at 8, and her new book about having twins is called Two at a Time. I thought it was something else. Jane Seymour, ladies and gentlemen. There you go. Thank you for coming. And an SNL veteran. He's a regular guest host on the Jim Rome Show, and soon he'll be calling the plays on NFL This Morning on Fox Sports Net. Jay Mohr, ladies and gentlemen. How are you, buddy?
How are you?
Good to see you. Okay.
How are you?
Right on. So, yes, two at a time. I want to talk about this. This is especially in the news because, you know, there's a governor, the governor of Massachusetts, Jane Swift. She became governor.
Also named Jane.
Yes, also named Jane.
Right.
Because the other governor got the job to be ambassador to Canada. I think that's what, she was the lieutenant governor. Anyway, she's about to drop. Not a CD, but two at a time. She's about to have twins and be the governor, and she says she can do it, and I say bull.
Well, I absolutely disagree.
You and that guy!
Exactly.
That guy and you!
Bill, I did that Dr. Quinn medicine woman until I was 7 months pregnant. I took a month off, had the babies, and I went back to work a month later, and I breastfed both of them.
Okay, but that's 2 months off.
We can be superwomen. Wait.
We're talking about, you just described 2 months off.
Okay, no. This is my point. My brain was functioning pretty well during that time. I was managing everything else that happened in my life. And personally, I think, you know, the guys, what are they doing? They're playing golf for 5 hours every day whilst running the country.
We're talking about a governor.
So I think a little breastfeeding, a little, like, you know, putting your legs up for bed rest, I think she can still think and make some wonderful decisions.
Exactly. You know what's sad is that I actually agree with Jane because, you know, it's unfortunate. This is a very important issue, but it's unfortunate that it's being debated in the political arena. As you probably know, the council that's pushing her to step down temporarily while she's giving birth and breastfeeding and taking care of her kids is a Democratic council. The governor is Republican. If she steps down, the person who takes over is the Secretary of State. That happens to be a Democrat. There's a little bit of politics going on here.
But it's a common sense issue which neither party has.
Well, I have a question.
And nobody has. It's common sense.
When were you last pregnant with twins? How do you know?
I'm actually pregnant with twins right now, Jane.
Because
let me have the floor, because I'm not the drug.
Okay, you had notes, I know.
Do you make one of your twins wear an eye patch so you can tell them apart?
I don't know what that means.
It's a nice little gag. I'll use it tonight. It's funny. Trust me. No, look, if you went to work, if we had a job at like Napa Auto Parts and a woman got pregnant, she's allowed by law to leave. So if a government is representative of the people, why can't they follow those same rules and take a maternity leave allowed by law?
Her job.
Well, she's not doing her job. That's the point. Well, she can't do her job.
But you don't want her breaking water on Barney Frank's open-toed wingtips and tails. I don't think you get, because it would clash for him.
First of all,
he's gay, everyone.
First of all,
we all know it's okay.
First of all, let's get real. That there's a difference between a high-powered, fast-track job, like being a governor or a CEO and working at an auto parts store. Okay, yes, you can have kids and have a regular job. We're not talking about a regular job. We're talking about a big-time, full-time.
Actually, that's even more reason for why she probably could take maternity leave, because the machinery of government is not going to come to a screeching halt because she takes some time off. The fact is you have a whole infrastructure. You have an infrastructure in place underneath a governor, a president, that will continue in spite of the fact that the governor is giving birth.
Okay, say our president, hypothetically, was an ex-coke addict and a big drunk.
I've been arrested 3 times.
Just hypothetically. I mean, if he went into rehab, you don't think there'd be a big scream? People wouldn't go, oh, come on, he's the president. He can't take 2 months off to get his together.
We can say
No.
I was going to say, man, what? Why am I holding back?
No, I'm just trying to make the rappers feel at home.
Thank you.
When President Reagan was shot, the machinery of the United States government, the most powerful government in the history of the world,
he didn't run the government anyway. What did it matter?
Oh, come on.
Oh, right.
Well, you know, I think it's a great opportunity.
I could tell when he went nuts.
If the governor of Massachusetts takes her 2 weeks off, maybe one of her constituents that she's handing the reins over to turns out to be some genius and somebody that never would have had the opportunity, given the minutiae of the political system, to show what they can do.
But I thought the point was she was going to stay on.
She is.
She is staying on. But the point is that, as you so rightly said, obviously there's an infrastructure there to help her. Her brain still functions perfectly.
Wait a second. Marie Osmond just went on Larry King and said after she had twins, she went on a 7-state crime spree. She went completely nuts, and she talks about it openly. It's called postpartum depression, okay?
Some people, unfortunately, do have that. And,
well, I think the fact that she had an Osmond has a little more to do with it than the fact that she had kids. She's Marie Osmond, Bill. She was a little bit country, now she's got triple D cups, doesn't quite know what to do with them. She's like, I'm hot, but I'm a Mormon, who do I sleep with, am I allowed? My brother's on his 5th radio show. I just noticed in this photo.
You can't.
I thought you had white hair in it. You look like a negative.
You can't.
That's not. What? Because I make a joke to a black person. It's O.
You know what?
No, not to you, but the white people from Michigan go, uh-oh,
right.
You cannot make fun of a black person.
You can't make fun of anything. That's what
Don't call her black. She goes crazy.
Right.
Korean only. Korean. Don't just call Eve Korean or woo.
Right.
You have a show to do. I'm sorry, Bill.
No, that's part of it. Right, but that's what I call...
Did I take you out of your game?
No, because you know what? That actually applies, because that's fake outrage.
Right.
People do that all the time in this country. They're not really outraged, but it feels good to pretend you're outraged at something, doesn't it? And that's the same that in their hearts, they know I'm right. This is not an anti-woman thing. It's a common sense thing. You can't be the governor of a state and be crapping out 2 children at the same time.
Oh,
you
my
just
God,
can't.
crapping. We're talking about the miracle of birth, William. We're
the
talking
miracle
about
of birth, it happens to like 500,000 people a day. What kind of a miracle
tells them that people do it on purpose and correctly. So let the lady have her 2 weeks off. She actually has a husband and
2 weeks.
Kids.
She's taking 8 weeks off, maternity leave.
So she is taking the time off.
But she's the governor.
Someone else is going to do it then for her. But she's still going to sort of put her bit in there. But she was voted for, wasn't she?
But I mean, if our president,
her opinion.
If our president took 2 weeks off or 8 weeks off, then Dick Cheney would have. No, he is president. Wait.
But okay, so when
common theme that you have here tonight, Bill.
Okay, when she has this 8 weeks off, she's like not going to have anything to do with government during that time?
Well, I can't believe that someone can really do the job of the governor of a state, which is a pretty big job, while they're breastfeeding. I mean, come on, you just... Come on, Jane, you just...
disagree with you.
Really, you're able to function completely on...
You're too fine.
If there's ceremonial duties, those ceremonial duties could be carried out.
But I don't think she necessarily needs maybe 8 weeks.
Okay.
If there are ceremonial duties that you're talking about, you don't want the governor to carry out.
All right, I'm emotionally exhausted. I have to take some time off. We'll be back. This 70s nostalgia is getting out of hand. First, Dick Cheney returns to the White House. Then we have a recession, energy crisis. They start the Cold War again. And now Robert Blake is back on TV. The LAPD finally admitted today that Robert Blake is indeed a suspect in the shooting death of his wife after public whisperings became impossible to ignore about the implausibilities in Blake's story and the strong motivation for him committing the murder. And yet, in this town, he still can't get arrested. All right. Since you've already made a fight over here about rap, let's fight, because they're always fighting.
I didn't make a fight. It was those fake politically correct
There's always
people.
a fight going. There's always a fight going on in rap. Let me tell you something. Yesterday, there was a hip-hop summit in New York between the Nation of Islam leader Conrad Muhammad, who called this. Russell Simmons has been fighting him in the press against it there. And some people say rap needs to be reclaimed and go back to, remember the old rap used to be kind of happy, throw your hands in the air, the Sugarland Gang, it was all kind of happy and Will Smith, you know, don't curse, you know. That kind of sucked, that music. Anyway, but then the rap of the 90s was more gangster rap, but the music was better. And I know you're on the side of reclaiming rap for the good.
Absolutely. I was a part of the summit with the former minister of the Nation of Islam, Conrad Muhammad, who held the summit. And there were some rappers there, actually. KRS-One, Eve and I were talking about KRS-One backstage. He's a responsible rapper.
Why'd you leave the white guy out? I was talking about him, too.
You don't count. No, I'm kidding.
I'm blacker than you. What are you talking about?
I take offense with that. But actually,
I don't want to offend
you know, that actually is what's at issue here, because what we are talking about doing, and what we were talking about doing within that summit, is not only retaking rap music to bring it back to its roots, but reclaiming the black image of who young black males are. And unfortunately, there are far too many rappers, and they don't represent all rappers, but far too many of them promoting negative lyrics and having negative behavior inside the studio, outside the studio, and
so
that's not a proper
behavior.
That's not a proper reflection. I'm talking about bringing guns into a nightclub. I'm talking about beating up record executives in gang style fashion
and singing about
and then promoting it. All right, there's something terribly wrong within the culture, and I'm saying that the good rappers out there, and I applaud KRS-One and the other rappers that
can say the good rappers.
That should reclaim it.
There aren't really no good rappers. I mean, I definitely, I mean, not like that, but I definitely understand. I love KRS-One. I think he's the truth on other levels, just as far as he is hip-hop. You know what I'm saying? He is the roots of hip-hop, just lyrically, though. But it's like, I don't agree with everything that a lot of the rappers say. Me, personally, the last album I did, I had a song called The Stick Up. That was for the boys. The boys wanted me to do that. I'm in the camp of a lot of guys. I will never do a song like that again because violence doesn't play any part in my world. You know what I mean? So I don't think it means, it doesn't help me as an artist. Like I said, I don't agree a lot with a lot of the things that rappers say, and some of the things that rappers say, about violence and about drugs, but that's how we grow
up. What
about
sex? What about their view of women?
But you know what? I'm gonna tell you.
Every rap song I listen to, they're putting on a condom.
I was shooting.
I'm being serious. Every rap song I listen to, they're putting on a condom. So if you want to go about sex with women, I got to defend the hip hop community. They're the only people I hear about.
Are you saying you can't say? Can we say bitches?
Bitch, we can definitely say bitches.
Bitches and hoes, you know what I'm saying? But I've been on tour with guys, and I see how women act around the guys, and when women change their actions, men will change their minds. Yeah? That's how I feel about it.
Unfortunately, it's a cycle, you know. I agree that the culture determines what comes out in a lot of our music, but in rap music is so powerful. I mean, I travel all over the world.
It is very
I travel all over the world, and people ask me, "Are you a rapper?" You know, the fact that
oh no, they don't.
No, I swear to you. It must be when I'm wearing jeans or something, Bill. I don't know, but the fact of the matter is,
you wear them real low.
No, I don't.
Oh.
Culture defines music, but rap music is so powerful now that it's defining the culture too. And contrary to what you might believe, I grew up in Harlem too. All right, and I know the streets as well, and I know that the streets are not just defined by drug dealers, gangbangers, and prostitutes.
I knew you grew up in Harlem, and I certainly didn't want you to take offense at that, but I have a quick question, and that is, if all these rappers were white, would we be talking about this right now?
Yeah, well, what about Eminem?
Yeah,
on the I was shooting my little Dr. Quinn thing, and they kept playing Eminem every morning before I go to do the thing. I stared listening to those lyrics, and I
you know what? Eminem is about to go to jail.
I wanted to puke so bad. I mean, the violence
yeah, but that didn't come from Eminem.
No, obviously not. But the problem I was saying backstage, the problem I have is the being British. I already have trouble listening just to the American sound, but the black American sound, and in the music, I need translation. Because I don't hear what they're saying.
Jane, that's a little stereotypical.
No, you mean translation as far as the slang? The slang.
Yeah. I don't understand.
I can tell you right now.
Well, I mean, there are. My mother sometimes needs translation.
I love the sound. I love the music. I mean, I know when I wasn't listening to the words of Eminem, I loved it. I just said, this is really cool stuff.
Right.
I listened to the words. I went, this is really sick.
Yeah. Crystal meth and rape. Well, that's a nice song.
Very sick.
But here, I'll recite some lyrics. You'll understand these. Bitch, please.
I got that one.
You must have a mental disease. Assume the position and get back down on your knees.
Wait, that's my album.
Yeah. Now, but I'm not a rapper. Now, that's a typical rap lyric.
Right.
And I think that's what you're talking about. What, are you offended by that? Because that, to me, is like...
Offended by him saying... No.
You're
Why?
not. Because it's saying to women, you must be insane if you think you have any other value than giving me oral sex.
Let me tell you something.
That's not offensive to you?
You're invited to come with me on tour when I go out with the Rough Riders. I just was on tour with Rough Riders and Cash Money. And these women do it to themselves. Cash Money calls women on stage for the Shake Your Ass contest. And women are up there pulling their dresses up, showing their thongs in front of thousands of people. And like
Not just Monica Lewinsky. You mean other women.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, other women. So it's like, I mean, it's not right. I'm not saying that it's right. I am not saying that it's right.
Those guys should be critiquing. You, as a young lady, should be critiquing that behavior. Unfortunately, there's too much glorification.
The only way, I mean, but I'm only one person. And in my rhymes, I'm not Susie Sunshine, but I do teach young girls. You know what I'm saying? As an entertainer. And I do believe as entertainers, we have a voice. You know, we have a voice for a reason. And we do have a responsibility. We don't want to be role models. A lot of us don't. A lot of us don't act like it. But that's something that comes along with the job. And I think we should teach as we go along something. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Teach something. And I do.
And not only you, but the black executives. There are a lot of black executives within the industry that also wield a tremendous amount of power. And what Minister Conrad Muhammad and I and others are trying to push is a responsibility. With that power, with being on the cover, being called the godfather of rap music, comes a responsibility. And now it's time to exercise it.
But that doesn't mean we have to listen to more Will Smith, does it?
No, don't beat up on poor Will.
We got to take a break. We'll be right back.
Join us tomorrow when our guest will be Third Rock from
to protect the area around the National Gallery, which is being eroded because public urination in the street is so widespread. Elton John has already volunteered to help out with a tribute song. He's reworking Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. I heard your apprehension about this, but, you know, this show has always talked about what people are talking about. If one thing people are talking about today, it is Robert Blake. And the question I have to ask here is that, I don't know whether he's guilty or not, but don't you think that people root against celebrities as much as they root for them? That they have this love-hate relationship. They secretly really want to see bad things happen to people who are up there. Right?
They do, but sometimes they, you know, they're right. I mean, I think everyone's still really upset about O.J. Simpson.
Well,
I mean, I don't know how many people think he's innocent, maybe 12, but...
Right. But he plainly killed his wife.
He clearly, plainly did.
This guy...
But he got away with it, and I think people are mad about that.
Hey,
so
you know what?
Kind of looking at
the gavel went down, they said innocent, so I don't think it's fair for us to sit in a national forum and say that he killed his wife.
And nobody was there.
I think he killed his wife, but I mean, you can't say he did it. You can't say he did it because the judge said not guilty, clank. I know, of course he killed.
But of course, the civil court. And the last thing I want to do is talk about O.J.
Well, let's talk about civil court. How can you be found not guilty and then just be held up?
Found responsible.
How are you found responsible if you're found not guilty?
Okay, well, we know.
We
all know what went into that case. The jury, Johnny Cochran.
But the thing that makes me of all people uncomfortable about this topic is that there's a dead woman involved, and we could sit around and talk about it, but eventually. Me especially, a punchline's going to roll out, you know, but we're talking about somebody's mother, somebody's sister.
We're talking about, I asked a different question. You're so paranoid about this. You
I'm high. That's what happens when you get high before the show.
I didn't ask about the dead woman. I asked whether people...
I need water.
...roots for celebrities' downfall. Even though they pretend to adore their idols, they really love to read about their addictions and their downfall.
Best-selling newspapers based entirely their
But Robert Blake beats people up a lot. So it's like when something like this happens, you go, okay, like if I read something bad about Jane or anyone, I'd be like, that's horrible. I don't think anybody would feel good if Jane Seymour had a big... you know, crisis or something.
I never read it.
But there are people that would feel good about it.
I'm saying, I think it's a character issue as well. I mean, you know, Tom Cruise, there was like that 3 months where he saved like 8 people's lives and stuff. You know?
Right.
I don't think it's something, if Tom Cruise was like on the lam for murder, I don't think everybody like, yeah!
But people are like...
I knew it! I knew he was going to kill somebody!
It was also on the... It also was on the front page of the tabloids today that he's gay. Tom Cruise is definitely not gay. How do I know? Because they printed his cell phone conversations with his wife. And if you read these things, you could tell he is not gay.
He's not gay.
He was something much worse. He was whipped, but he was not gay. I have to take another commercial.
Investments, Saturday at 10.
All right. Tomorrow we have Brent Stewart, Jeff Probst, Chuck D, and Angela McGlowan. Thank you, folks.